it just came to me. And I think that the spirit of language works that way. It just comes to you. Hey, hello. Hey, hello, hello. Hey, 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 hello. Josh
A system of civilizing the indigenous population began in 1879, as children were removed from their homes and forced to attend church-run boarding schools across Canada, isolating them from their families and communities. It was decided that Indigenous children needed to be separated from their parents and put into a program of education to make them talk, think, and act like Canadians. These schools functioned as incarceral spaces where Indigenous children were physically, sexually, and emotionally abused, as well as taught to despise their cultures. The final Indian residential schools were closed in 1996, with major repercussions and intergenerational impacts. The Indigenous population of Canada rather suffered than profited from Indian residential school education. A cycle of disadvantage leading to poverty, abuse, addictions, and racial segregation resulted. This film highlights the Kaniasik Cultural Camp located in northern Saskatchewan at Ministikwin Lake Reserve. Over the course of 16 years, the camp has expanded to a Cree Immersion school with a land-based learning program, where students learn through traditional teaching methods, exploring the geniuses of Indigenous knowledge systems.
If they were no good, the meat would this would be way more stinkier and everything like that.
Oh, what happens if you just put him back in the water right now?
They won't
come back alive. They'll swim away.
Nothing will eat it.
Ew.
So,
It won't be alive?
Oh, kita tamskat na ako kakyo no ako magantik ni Suis kemik. Niyo oma Steve Andrews sincere kason. I'd like to start by greeting you all, shaking your hand, whoever's going to be seeing this, wherever you are in the world, and greet you and wish you a good morning here in Takanatahaski, in this land called Canada, the land which is clean. That's where we are, on the land.
What are we, half black belts, or what are we? Black belts? Black belts, gigats. That's how high we are. And that Cree karate, umisigati. Okay? So this is kind of a good place where you're sitting down, right? Or in the classroom, and you need to get up a little bit. So this is, okay.
Let's go one second. Let's go. Okay. Back behind it. Slow and that's good. Slow again. All right. What's it? Nip away. What's it? Okay, kako slitano perché schissa già pagina. Perché? Piate. Whoa. Cha. Ka. Cha. Si. O. Ha. Everyone know what's soge. Just know what's soge. Whoa. Cha. Cha. Si. O. soge ba, soge. Wo, cha, ka, cha. E, O, ha.
And I've been a part of the team teaching at the Cree Immersion School since December, actually, of last year. Yeah. And what do I do there? I participate in everything that's happening, whether it's be in the school or whether we take the children out onto the land, wintertime, summertime. And one of my responsibilities that I've been asked to do is to reintroduce the children and as well as teachers and parents into the traditional writing system of the Nihioak, which is called Chakpahegana, and it's the spirit markers, Chakpahikiwan. And it's a writing system that isn't merely a writing system, but it's a gift that was given by the Creator to the people. And it's very unique, and it's something that's sacred, and there are sacred stories that go with that. And the teachings that we participate in, they're contained in this particular way of communicating, not merely an orthography, but rather it's a relationship that we have with all living beings. And there's a lot of things that could be said about it, but this isn't the time to talk about it. But that's kind of my responsibility to kind of take the lead in that. And the children from 6 years old to 16 are doing really well. They catch on very quickly because we don't use any Roman writing system whatsoever, and we don't associate it with anything that is not Cree. It's Cree, Nihio. And that's why I'm excited about it, because it's reawakening that which in this land probably maybe 200 years ago, that was the lingua franca, the Cree language. And that was the language that everyone needed to learn because of the historical prominence of the Nihio up here. And also the settlers that came into the territory at that time, most of them were not literate people from other parts of the world, whereas here in this territory, Nihio Esquimalt, the Cree territory, they say that between 85 to 90% of the people were completely literate in reading and writing in their own system. And of course, that all changed with the history, which we won't get into, but it was well established in this area. And we're reawakening it because it's part of the it's part of the prophecies that is very crucial, that the children relearn what's inside of them. And that's the system that we're trying to use everywhere in our school in terms of a visual system to look at.
Wasaga shun siga shun Kevin Lewis Nuihun Iwa Stukskawai Siltinia Iwa Ugumuma Kamamo Paya Utayagi Vitapuntia Iwa Xnamao Sun Nihiaun Nihio Achtigiun Nihio Matsu Nivanan Higawa Tamoya Kugaya Uskayak Awasak Iwa Nuakumagananak. So the culture camp originated from sort of like meetings with the elders, meetings with the knowledge keepers. And what we wanted to promote and not lose was our language and our culture. So that's where the beginning was of the culture camp and the immersion school.
When did the immersion school get set up, and what was your role?
So the immersion school was based on the two camps that we had. That's what we did last year. And what had happened was we've developed this camp for over about 16 years now, like I said. And we're offering those services and those teachings to a lot of different schools, including the local community school. But it was starting to develop, and it was starting to take off because it's fun, and it was working. That's why it was fun on both sides, as an instructor, as a coordinator, or a cook or a guide. Like it was so multifaceted, so it was enjoyable. And we decided to create a school because the first camp we expected 15, and we were thinking, they're not going to show up. And like I said, 45 showed up on that first camp. And then lucky it was summertime because most teachers are not working in the summer. So we hired a couple of teachers. And then the second camp, we were expecting another 15, and then 49 students showed up. So it was an overwhelming, like these are students from here. So it was overwhelming in terms of success. It was fun. You know, it was good to see that response from the community in numbers. And then when we came to the end of it, it was sort of like a reflection process, and we tend to like to reflect on sort of like the good and you know, and what needs to be worked on and what was successful. Promising practices kind of started developing like out of that, and yeah, we said we got to start a school. You know, if we want proof, the kids are the proof. They showed up, and that's why we developed the school. So as far as funding, we have very limited to none. We're self-funded. We fundraise, and then what was happening was we have a base cost, but it's just a little above sort of like what the minimal, like paying for food, paying for tobacco, paying for cloth, giving a little honoraria to all these instructors that get together. And then there was a little surplus, so we were putting that into the bank, right? And then it was sort of growing. It wasn't very much, but enough to purchase maybe an extra canoe here, maybe to replace a paddle, maybe to do a little renovation job on an existing building, or else to purchase a pavilion, you know, on those rainy days. So that's how it kind of developed. So it's all self-funded. And then we landed a couple of grants that were successful, but really like smallish grants, you know, nothing really significant. But it was enough to start getting the programming, to get footing on it, to move it forward. So we started, I guess, getting people in like Steve, Andreas, who's a phenomenal speaker, an adult learner, so he knows how to teach the language. Yungari McDonald, who was a special ed teacher, came from that background. And then the principal, who is Matilda Lewis, who's my mom. And then also Patricia Alexander from the neighboring reserve. And they are they're all specialized in language development, language revitalization, and second teaching language methodologies. They're all trained in that, and they all got together, you know, and made this. And I was sort of like an Oskapius, like a helper. It'll be 1 year in coming August when we started kind of really seriously making the decision to say either we keep on doing the culture camp and the monthly seasonal activities, or should we just do this full on with our own kids here locally. So that was the difference, right? So after we decided, okay, well, if you guys aren't going to go work in like an actual school, let's create this land-based Cree language immersion school, and let's do this. You know, enough talking about it and dreaming about it. Let's make it a reality. The vision is to have these young ones continue on with the cultures, the language, the visiting, the ceremonies, to reconnect with the lake, to respect the waters, the fish, to respect the trees. Conservation is a big key, not just because from the land, but language and culture, of course, right? And how it's all interrelated. And then we started wanting to take the summers back to teach in the summers as well. English, and I'll use English as an example. English doesn't take a day off. So we can't take a day off, right? So we have to, if we take the summer off, well, that's all English time now, right? If we don't do anything about it. So we have to constantly try to, so in the summertime, we're going to be using the language as well. I'm from here. I grew up. The benefit of this place is like the majority of this lake and the reserve here is around, like, it's like lakeshore, right? So when in the summertime, we had to create our own summer programming. So it was like, okay, well, let's go swimming today. You know, the day's fine. Let's walk over there or bike over to the beach and, you know, learn how to swim. And then from there, I remember one of my older cousins, we were starting to get hungry, right? And it was like, oh, geez, we have to walk back 3 kilometers, you know, to go eat and then maybe come back and, you know, do some more swimming. And it was, I remember, and it was at this point over here called Kanyasik, but it was called New Beach at the time. I don't know where New Beach came from, but it's the original name is Kanyasik. And then hence the name of the camp and the school. I remember her pulling a cattail out straight up like that, and then she said, and then she started eating it, the tip of the cattail that she put off. And we're wondering, what are you doing? You know, I'm not gonna go home. I can eat right here. And there was you can see along the shore, there's a whole bunch of cattails, and that's something we didn't have to go home that day. We started eating from the land. And then we looked a little deeper, and then here's Saskatoon's growing. It was that time already. They were ready. So we had lunch and snack right there, and then we could continue swimming and learning how to swim. And so it was that connection to this lake. It was clean. It was fun. I don't know if I would have my kids unsupervised like that for that long now, you know, but we took care of each other. The older cousins were there looking after our well-being, which was a community, right? It was nice. In the wintertime, we would go chip. We didn't have running water here, and we didn't have like too much electricity here at the time as well. We had outhouses, so we needed to use the washroom in the wintertime. And then we didn't have indoor plumbing either. So what we would do is we'd slide down the hill on that side down to the lake, and then we'd have these containers, and then we'd have to go chip into the lake. And I remember, well, where we were, the adults chipped it already, so our duty was to go actually fetch the water and then slide down. It was fun going, but then you had to pull this water up this hill, right? And but you know, it was on a sled, and you'd work either with a sibling or a cousin or somebody, and then you get the water inside, and then that's what you would cook with, you'd wash with, and you would drink with that water, right? So it was all from the lake here. So I have reverence of this lake and all the beings that are in there, and then all the flyers that come in the summertime that come and you know, lay eggs in the area. Ducks come, geese come. So it's there's so much that happens.
Magaya, a lot of our learning, a lot of our teachings are out on the land. We're not stuck in that 4-wall classroom. So we take our kids out here. Then we take them let's say berry picking. That's the other thing that we really want to focus on this year. Our school didn't close the end of June. When the school closed the middle of June, our school is still running up to this day, and we're not done till the end of July. So in that sense, the reason why we're doing that is because we have our elders that are mobile, they're really energetic during the summer. Let's utilize our elders. You know, the plants are ready to be harvested. Everything out there is ready to be harvested. And these are our elders. This is the time for them. They come out. And these are the teachers that we want to utilize. So we, you know, in terms of Daswutskista, you know, our teachings go with the seasons. We have our own curriculum, and the school here doesn't have that curriculum. We were so fortunate to have T-Sakaya to give us their binder. Everything's just laid out, and everything goes according to seasons, so spots. And in there, the ceremonies are included in there. So spots, it's very detailed what we do, so spots. And then we have our elders that come here and they do drumming, usihi drums, and they make rattles and they sing with the kids songs. And then at some point, but not really into a detail, they talk about ceremonial songs. They talk about different songs for different ceremonies, different songs for different purposes. So Maya Hio spots, we're all compiling it all together. So everything's compiled that what we're doing there, it's not done in this school because we still they have to follow the Western Monial. Magaya Nistanan, we're not excluding doing math or English. We still do 1 hour of math. We still do 1 hour of English. The only reason why we did that is because it's mandatory with the Saskatchewan provincial curriculum. We still have to do that. Maoris do it. We went there. The Hawaiians they do the same thing. And when we went there, how the Maoris were doing theirs. And the Hawaiians, how they did it. Even the Navajos are doing the same thing, and that's what we're following this time. So if you're wanting to send your kids into our school, we have a whole array of what we can, we'll go through the whole program, what we offer.
Yeah, Usnaug. So that's just a gift to the elders. And I don't know if you understood that, but maybe he's got him in his hand now. He can explain to me what tipio kiwa. But apati ta samaya utstomi gi migusio gaya komiaga saga maski here migusio. Sometimes we're spiritual people. Well, number one thing, we're spiritual people. Achako kiano utsto gana wamana nia wasaga so gatigoya na wan nia cha wigo. So that's the name. And then Kevin Lewis is just his body. And then Kevin Lewis is going to stay here. The Spirit's going to live on. It's going to move on. Just over here, David, school. There was this one lady that used to these hunters were going to go hunting. They went on a hunting party. This is our story, our history. And then she said, she would always go to the shore, man. And to mama tata, she was kind of inakatito ma. No, utoy kaksa go ichotse. Kami nagamamatan, and then she would kind of sneak kaumana right by the shore where they left to these hunters. To mama tata, she was crying. And then eventually, she developed like a little kimut, right? She would go by the shore, right by that area. She would go cry by the shore. Sooner, muista sisiga, kigoy utawa kaya to. Grabbed her, pulled her into the lake. Okay, this being that we have, this sacred being that we have. They had a little kiwitushimyo. They have a child. Okay, so this is our local story. Utomgyano. And then so this Sundance song, it's sung here. Asko, it's sung here. But we're starting to lose even that one. The significance of this is, what that being did was let her go. But they had this baby, but this baby couldn't follow her because that baby was half half a baby. I think it was a boy, if I can remember. Right? So it was a little mermaid that was made, or a merman, whatever it was. So here's the trick: was the idea she could go home, because she was human, I guess, but then the being was half, and then of course the water being, And then she was kind of locked in that relationship because it'd be no house every night, every evening. She would grab her baby and she would breastfeed that baby, and then of course let it go into the water, and then go back to her community, and then that but that's a story from here. It's a beautiful story, but it's to respect this water, this water.
Assistant professor at the University of Alberta. I'm here with Kyle. I'll let him introduce himself.
Tansi, Kanlipu Nitsikatson, Mininaoche, Quitnook, Northwest Territories, Denende, near Tahtene, Denededlene, Nina Nehiowin, my roots. And so I've been working a lot with Kevin and Lana to help to support community and land-based language learning, and so not just for me but also for the next generations to come.
So this circle is about wanting to a lot of our elders would say our language is spirit and our words are medicine, and so that's kind of what the questions we're asking today is, what do we mean by our language is spirit and our words are medicine?
So the same thing is happening here. Industry is coming in, but that's where we pick our berries from, our roots, our animals, our moose, our ducks, our geese, all these different things that were given to us here by Creator to sort of survive on, And here's something that you can look at too when that horse dance does come around. This horse dance, we're going to be giving thanks to this animal that we've developed a relationship with, right? And in there, I want you to look at sort of what we're going to be feeding the people. Is it going to be from Walmart, or is it going to be from Sobeys, or is it going to be from the land? Is it going to be fish there that we're going to be eating that's good for us? So there's always this connection, we say we know it's good for us, but it's just that little extra hard work to go get that fish, to go actually harvesting anything. It's a little bit of work, right? It's a little bit of pain. It's a little bit of travel. It's a little bit of walking, paddling, whatever. But I think that connection, it's beautiful. That's the richness of it. It's hard. It's a little extra hard, but it's like worth sort of like making a stand. If it is industry coming in, for us to say, oh, wait, just a second, that strawberry that you're going to be running over is actually, according to the creation story, is my heart. That wild strawberry that you ate earlier, right? You said there was a wild strawberry. That was Creator taking that wild strawberry and putting it in here, utimna, right? And then there's another leaf that Creator took, 2 leaves, and put them in our body, and those are our lungs. And then there's this tree, poplar tree, that the stick man or the stick woman that Creator created came from that tree. And then kidneys, all our different innards here, right? Our guts, everything. It was taken from the earth and the land. So I think, when we're kind of looking that way to industry, to everything that's really around us, that's kind of easy. That's where I'm stuck. Like, we're all stuck there right now. We don't know where to go, right? And it's a realistic view. What I'm seeing, if we go this way a little too much, we pay for it through our bodies, through our communities. We pay for it through diabetes, obesity, all these silent killers, we call them, right? So that's what I see. And I want to give notice to that, right? These are good, like they're snacks, we need them. But we also have that other option of those good foods, those medicines, those teas like these. There's beautiful stuff in here right now. And this tobacco, how that was laid in so many different places today, right? That sacred medicine knowledge that you taught. I think those are the healing part, and the medicine is sort of like how to connect us to those. That language tells us, oh, that's a heartberry. Oh, why is it called a heartberry? Oh, because it's in here.
Kisimanto iushihat kakyo gigoy iushihat kakyo gigoy so spots iwakut higoya nagapukut skitama awina niya. So what I said there was the Creator created everything we can see and can't see. And it was so unique that the Creator makes us related to each other. Not merely the two-leggeds, but all of creation. We are related. And the actual earth we live on is our mother. So for each nation to have its uniqueness, to be what the Creator intended for his children, it's important to be what we're created to be. So language, culture, those are words that we're getting to who we are meant to be when we come to this earth. So if somebody wants to be living their full intention desired by the Creator, it is essential to be that. And to be that means that you are in a place that you were put on, a place that has everything there for you given, and all the sacred stories that tell you where you come from. And a crucial part of that is the language. The language carries everything that the Creator had blessed the people with, from the ceremonies to the way of living to the sacred stories. The language carries all that. An expression of that is how people live. So, those are pretty broad topics, but they're very important for little kids. Even before they're born, they're being how do I put this? They're choosing to come here for a purpose. And there are choices that are made by that little one, even though we think they can't talk and all that. They're making choices before they arrive here in this earth. So if they come here with that intention, they want to be who the Creator created them to be. So often in world things, world life, other peoples want to interrupt that which the Creator had in mind. And that's the history throughout the world with indigenous peoples, is there's other people, other nations who interrupt what people were created to be. So if a child chooses to come here and be a part of a nation, and another nation comes and says, we now own your land, we take your land, we take away your language, your culture, they have disrupted what has been made by the Creator. So to heal, to return that nation, little kids, we have to help them become who they are. And so when you begin to speak to a child before they're born, and they begin to hear that sound of Nihiyawiwin, they awaken to who they are. And if we can foster that, even though there's many years and generations of colonization and genocide, children still become who they are if they're given all the perfect circumstances to grow. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do nothing new, but return back to what Creator had in mind when He created the Cree people and the Cree nation.
But there is a lot of gas and oil drilling. So therefore, with that, we've lost a lot of our hunting and trapping, collecting plants and berries. We can't do any harvesting whatsoever, what we used to do in the past. And the same thing's happening. It's going to happen with this other clear cutting with Serafina and Husky. So all these other reserves are banding together. They're trying to put a stop to it, at least to protect the water, at least to have some water rights. Because, all these lakes, the rivers, they all join together. They ruin this water, and then this is our water. This is the only, lake that's safe enough to drink. The environment is going to be damaged. It's going to be wrecked. And then where do we take our students? Where do we go from there?